Le'ilu Nishmas. Devorah Bas Baravah Yeshua, Yankel. Yehud ben Yosef, the schus of the Torah of the son-in-law and the son, the Shamash should have an Aliyah. Okay, the Gemara was discussing at the end people who were found in questionable situations where they were hiding, and the question was, were they with? Did they do the aveira of znus with the woman or not? And the Gemara was saying in all these situations, there was evidence that they hadn't gone ahead and done something wrong. The last case is on Sadik Aleph on the base. He in Sasa who noyef the all gabe he in Sasa this noyef, this adulterer, he came and he went to this woman Asa Gavra Solik noyef, and he went ahead and his yase b'kloi bava, he was sitting on some curtain. Having mechatein tachle tamon b'teimnon ha'chivya. They brought in front of the owner of the house, the man, some type of cress, some type of lettuce, some type of green thing that people on diets eat, and it had been envenomated. A snake had gone ahead and eaten from it. So now you have the possibility that this owner of the house is going to eat from the cress, and he's going to die as a result of ingesting the venom. So boy mori the base of lemechal min hanu tachle belay daite the insasa. So amalei ahu noyef, the noyef pulled out from behind the curtain, like techel min noin, did him the chivya. Don't eat from it because the chivya, a snake, had gone ahead and eaten from it. Some are Rava, says Rava, in Sase Sharia, a woman's mutter, because in this year, the Avidi Surah, because in fact he had done an act of immorality of znus, he would want the guy to go ahead and die, get him out off the picture. Dichsiv, a noyef, when a person's a noyef, dam is in the hand. So in other words, the chosh is for a murderer. So the fact that this guy would not want the person to die is a rai, is not a noyef. Pshita says in Pashit, now the Tema, he surah of it. In fact, he did the Avera. By the Amalei, and that he wanted him to live, the Nichle Dleilamis, why? Because Baal, that having Sasi Lavei, Maim Genuvim Taku, that the woman should be upon him, Maim Genuvim. If the husband would have died, she wouldn't be an Ashes Ish, but now, you'd have a Havamim like that. And Ubelechem, Sestarmi, Naim, Kamash Malon, that you don't say that. And Hadron Allah, Ve'elu Nedarim, Sliklam Mesech Nedarim, Hadron Ve'elu Nedarim, Sliklam Mesech Nedarim, Hadron Ve'elu Nedarim, Sliklam Mesech Nedarim, and the Zaka, Rabbi Rosenfeld. You don't have to use thing yet. Kaddish. Hadron Allah, Mesech Nedarim, Hadron Allah. What is the Shemina? Mesech Nedarim, is the Shemina? Love Ahmed Hadem, love Ahmed Asi. Word something that Agumayla Hinabaya Zainab should pay for Roscoe and the state of Omazer, who say Emmanuel Haba. Amir Papa, Rabbi Papa, Akma Papa, Akai Papa, Abba Bamar Papa, Rafa Papa, Rakish Papa, Zurka Papa, Hada Papa, Dora Papa. However, no other Noel Hinaba Esterbase or Rosso Bafinu, over 50 years on Club Israel. In the year now, Zets Ainu, Zayanko, so Colonial Bishop, so Secha. Lashma, and may I buy Takmani, Mitzosecha, Ilam Hili. Ili be Samim, the Kukecha, Laman no Evosh, the Olam, Loesh Kach, the Kudecha, Ivan Kisoni, Barakata, the Nilam Dani Kukecha, Amen, 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 Salavoen. Lodi Manato, Ufunacha, the Nilam, and Sami. Shed Santa Kalkan Miyoshe, Samish, Santa Kalkan Miyoshe, Kronos, Shanamashkim, the Hemashkim, Anumashkim, the very sort of the Hemashkim, the Pispitalim. Anu Amen, the Hemashkim, Anu Amen, the Kaman Saka, the Hemashkim, Kaman Saka. Other said him, what's it? Other it's Mikhail, oh, the Emirates, and the Shaka Shema, the Yata, Elohim, sorry, name, the Shakas, Anchi Dom Mima, though Yakatsu, you may have the attack book. Here it's some of Daka, the Nai, Elohai, Bishim, Sartani, the Saima, Sekas, Nedarim, came to Azrain, La Haskell, Masetas, Sperm, Macher, Saima, will Modu Lamay, the Shmov, La Sos, the Kaim is called very some to a second Avo, who's a Hus Kohat, Naima, Maram, Samik Hakamim, Yamali, Lazai, Shalo, Samash, Tatomi P. Zari ad olam. This guy be his aleka kot hata osach. The shakot kot shpalecha. But he tells the heat is si checha. He be yebu yemecha be yosifu l'chashnos kayim. Orek yamim b'bina smala osha v'chavod. Adonai oz amo yitem. Adonai yorecha samo v'shalom. Iskadash me rabbo. What Rachel say? Iskadosa u'lechayom Messiah. Sakayas on the Chai Oma, women they car to the Yerushalayim, Ulishach Lola Hechle Begava,
Mecca Polkana Nukra bin Ara, the La Sava Polkana Gitishmaila Asra, Yamet Kucha Bariku Bamakus Yikari Yasa Perkune the Karmishike, the Kai Khan the Kai the Pix Top Hagol of Mount Caribbean Brew. Schmidt, Rabbi, the Maram, Salam, Yisbarach, Yishabach, Yisbab, Yisroman used to say, Yisador, Yisaleh, Yisalo, Schmidt, Kuchab, Rechu, Laila, Mikover, Fasam, Shirasa, Tush, Bakasam, Nechmasad, Amiram, Balmov, and Ru, Amin, Al Yisrael, Yalab, and Naviata, David, Kol, Dominic, some David, Kol, Mondos, Kamaraisa, Diba, Asra, Name, Kol, Savasar. Hey, lo, the Kosh Labarab, the Pistol Barak, I mean, the kind of Rickman under Peter, the Convent of Woolish, my Arab, and Brew, Amen. Yesh Labarab, I mean, Shema, the Khan, Lane, Call Israel, and Brew, Amen. No sexual love, Rachmav, Yasa, Shalom, the Lane of Call Israel, and Brew, Amen. Just want to thank our Rabbi and thank this Chabura because he literally just gave me so much chizuk. It's such a pleasure, and I really fell into such a Chabura, and it's hoping Mirz Hashem in a few years to finish with everybody.
Trying to fall out.
Fine.
I keep it up, I make it.
Let me taste the whole save meat.
Hey, just to cover the simcha, to say, share with you a deher. The Gemara in Daf Lamed Beis in Leif in Nedarim tells us you say this of Mila. Tanya, Rabbi Yom Gedolah Mila, she'en lecha mish nisasik b'mitzvahs k'Avram Avinu. No one was moisig in mitzvahs Avram Avinu. The Gemara in Yuma tells us Avram kept kol Torah kula. No one was like Avram. By Nikra Tamim, however, Avram was not called Tamim el al Shem Mila. When was he called Tamim? Shneimar Salach lefanai ve'yitzamim in Yud Zayin in Bereshis at the end of Lech Lecha. He says, be Tamim. How do you be Tamim? Go ahead and have a bris milah. As a result of the bris of milah, I'll place my covenant that you are the father of the Jewish people. It's equal to all the mitzvahs. Speaking about the Yisrael, the milah. Upligid Rebbe Eliezer. The sugi over here argues on Rebbe Elazar or Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Elazar gedoyle Torah. Shomali Torah leniskayim shmayim varetz. If not for Torah, the shmayim varetz would not continue. Shnemar and loy brisi yom v'layla huka shmayim varetz loy samti. So we all learn Torah and we all know the chashivas of Torah, but I think sometimes it's important to remind ourselves. I'll share with you a Maisa. It's a famous Maisa, but it's worthy hearing and hearing over and over again. Rav Nasa Nata Spira was known as the Megala Amukos. He was born in 1588. He lived 48 years and he died. He's buried in Krakow, Poland. And again, he was known by his sefer Megala Amukos. That means to go ahead and reveal the deep secrets. He was a Mekubal Shein Kamahu. He was 48 years old when he was Nifta. So there was no one. The story goes like this. Rav Chaim Briska, at the end of his life, came to Krakow. He's buried, Rav Chaim Briska, despite the fact he was the Rav in Brisk, which was Lithuania, he's buried in Krakow. He got sick and he was nifted there. He went to the cemetery to daven by the Megala Mukos, and on the grave next to Megala Mukos says something very modna. They say, we don't know who lies here, but Yagid Alav Reyai. Let his friend testify for him. In this case, his neighbor. And Chaim was like, what's the story with this? Mudna think, buried next to him without a name, next to Megala Mukos, without a name, and Yagel of Reya, what's the story with this? Anyway, he asked, and the Chevra Kadisha, they have records, ledgers from stories that go back. You want to know great stories, read the ledgers of the Chevra Kadisha of some of these places. And this is the story that was told by the Megala, the story. It seems that in the early 1600s, the 17th century, when the Megala Mukos, he was nifta, and somewhere along the line, I don't know when it happened, a person came along, a young man, and he went to the head of the Chevra Kadisha, and he goes, I want to buy a plot in the cemetery. So he goes, no problem, we'll sell you a plot. He goes, I want the plot next to the Megala Mukos. So he goes, I don't know who you are, but I can't sell you the plot next to the Megala Mukos. He goes, name a price. I'll pay you whatever you want. I want to be buried next to Megala Mukos. This guy, head of Chevra Kadisha, he said, listen, this guy's a young guy. I'm an old guy. I got a chance to make a profit for the Olam, the city. He said 500 rubles, which seemed to have been at the time an enormous sum of money. And guess what? The guy paid it. Unfortunately for the head of Chevra Kadisha, within days, that young person died. Chevra Kadisha went to bury him, and of course, they did not bury him next to Megala Mukos, because they don't even know who he was. They don't know his name. Goes to sleep, and unfortunately for him, who shows up in his dream? He goes, I bought the keva next to Megala Mukos. You didn't keep your word. Day number 1. 4 nights in a row he comes, and the guy does nothing. He goes, what is he going to do? He's not going to bury him next to Megala Mukos. So on the 5th night, he told him, you know what? I'm going to call you to Din Torah in the Beis Shal Maila. That got his attention. The Rav of Krakow at the time was the Bach, Rav Yoel Circus. The Bach, the famous Bach, goes to the Bach and says, first of all, we don't know who he was. You're right. We can't bury him next to Megala Mukos, but you're wrong at taking the money. Try to find out if he has Yarshim to give the money back to. Tries to find out. They don't know the guy from Adam. There's no Yarshim. The Bach says, and in addition, when you get called to a Din Torah, you don't go to the Din Torah of the Toyin, you go to the Din Torah of the Nitfa. You don't go to the Din Torah of the one making the claim, you go to the Din Torah of the one who's being claimed from. So he can't call you up there, but you can call him down here. The Kachoya says the Bach. It's written there. They had a court case in Krakow in the Bach's time in the 17th century. The people on Meir, they heard him from Shemayim say, I bought the keva for 500 ruble. A voice came out. People heard the voice. As I state, people heard the verse. Said the Bach, we don't know who you are. I paskin, you shouldn't be buried next to Megala Mukos. If you could tell us anyone that you have to give the money to, we'll give the money to. He goes, but, since we know anything about you, Yaglov Reya, if a Beis Shal Maila paskins, you should be next to Megala Mukos. Okay, let them deal with it. According to our Beis Din, you're free. The next day, they found the guy's grave open and a newly fresh grave next to the Megala Mukos. It's all in the ledger of Krakow. Rav Chaim's going out of his mind. This is the story. That's all he does. There is a addendum to the story. The Dvar Avram, the Kovner Rav, said this. What was the source of this guy? What was the source of this guy? Everything he did, every single thing he did, before he did it, he would look up the halacha and learn it. Every day before he washed bread, he would go through the halachas b'tzias hapas. Every day he'd wash until Yadayim, he'd go through the halachas b'tzias Yadayim. Everything he did was al pi Torah. There was nothing that he didn't do al pi Torah. The koyach Torah got this person such a nes nigla that he was, and that's pshat yagadol of reyoi. The Megala Mukos was what meir in shemayim that this person could be buried next to him. And that's the koyach Torah. There's nothing. You get together every night. You get together for what we call the chevra, commitment. But you don't realize, and you should never lose sight of the fact that every single night, all the words of Torah we learn, we cannot comprehend how happy HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. I know. I've had dreams, not some nightmares, but anyway. So, but it is again. It's such a special thing to be part of a group. A chevra gets together every night. There's 10 people get together. The Shekhinah is here before. The Shekhinah comes every night. Well, he used to come every night, but now we get 8 guys. I don't know, but Zoom. I don't know. Yeah, Zoom. I don't know if Zoom counts. The Shekhinah shows up in Zoom. I don't know. But anyway, I never lose sight of the fact that I've been zeicha to be with together such a bunch of wonderful people, the new people, the old people. It's just to share Torah. There's no friendship like Torah. It's a friendship of Torah that's been just my Honeson sent me a letter today from a very, very dear friend of mine, and just speaking about the relationships with Torah. And it was very, very. I hadn't seen the letter in a long time. It was very, very, very chaviv to me, and also it was all built on Torah. So again, the bracha is always we should continue growing and steiging together and enjoying each other. Mazel tov.